What's up? It's Marco back here on the Sage of Soccer channel, and today I'm going to be covering the first 2 days of Match Week 6 of the Premier League. If you want to get straight into your team's game, I'm going to have timestamps in the description, but other than that, I'm just going to go through the games as they happen, starting out with the Friday night game of Leeds beating Aston Villa 3-0. So for Leeds, the first thing you got to talk about is Patrick Bamford with the second half hat-trick. He's really showing some finisher's instincts that, as I said a lot, I didn't think he'd have going into this year, but he's been playing great. His second goal in particular was just an amazing job to get free and be able to get that shot off. His movement's been great. His finishing's been great. Hold-up play especially. Well, we knew the hold-up play was going to be there. The question was if he could find the back of the net in the Premier League, and he's been doing it, so great job to him. I thought their midfield was doing very well against the Aston Villa midfield that is really good with Barkley, McGinn, and Louise in there, Grealish dropping in. And they were really doing better against them than... They're doing much better than Aston Villa, I thought. Rodrigo, Klitsch especially was amazing. Shackleton did well with just having to come on in the middle of the game. Good performance by him. Rodrigo was a lot better defensively than I thought he was. When he signed, I thought he'd be playing as like a... I thought he'd take Bamford's spot, to be honest. But he's been doing really well defensively as well. And great performance by him. Down the left, I think Alioski and Harrison were really dangerous. They worked together to set up that first goal, and they were just looking to threat the entire time. Jack Harrison's been really good, especially on this Leeds team. As well, Rafinha, I thought that he had a really good debut. Pretty lively. You could see the talent that he had. Melier was making some really good saves. The only thing I could say for this Leeds team, I think they started idling at center back. I think they missed him going forward on the right. Costa wasn't getting as involved as he could have been, but they ended up keeping the clean sheet and getting 3 goals, so I don't think you'd really get mad at that decision. So for Aston Villa, it was definitely the worst performance of the year, their first loss, first time they dropped points. There were a couple of good positives. Grealish was still looking pretty lively when attacking. I thought Trezeguet was getting forward pretty well, which is kind of weird for him because I kind of look at him as the weak link on that Aston Villa team, but he was looking pretty good in this bad performance. I think the main problem was their midfield. It was not looking too good. They were giving the ball away a lot. That was leading to some goals. Ross Barkley, his goals have been covering up that he hasn't been performing that great, and I think that this game that kind of really showed through. And it's actually kind of similar with John McGinn. He scored a lot at the beginning of last year, and that kind of covered for him, and just gave him a bit of a pass. And well, I don't think that it's going to come back to haunt them. I mean, they've been doing very well. I don't think they're in danger of relegation, but I also think they'll probably cool off and end up around mid-table by December, let's say. Or end of December, because it started kind of late this year. I think their main problem this game was defensively. They weren't doing enough to stop this Leeds team. I thought in particular, Konsa had a pretty poor game. He really could have gotten a couple blocks off, especially on 2 of those Bamford goals. As I said, they had a great start, but they weren't looking like they deserved all four of those wins, and they will start to cool off now. But that's okay. They're still exceeding expectations, and it was a great job to win those 4 games. So man of the match for this game, it's my rule. If you get a hat trick, you're man of the match, so Patrick Bamford. Jeez, keep proving me wrong, So for the next game, the first one of Saturday, Man City tied West Ham 1-1. So for Man City, this game, they really dominated possession, but they really didn't dominate the chances at all. It was about equal with them and West Ham. So for some positives, I thought that their fullbacks were looking pretty good going forward, Cancelo and Walker. Walker didn't get involved as much, but when he did, they really made chances when he got on the ball. Foden, he was looking really good when he came on, along with Kevin De Bruyne. You can kind of understand why they wouldn't start them with the Champions League games coming up, but man, just watching Gundogan in the middle, he's such a downgrade on those 2, and he really shouldn't start in any important games for Man City. Bernardo Silva didn't have the best game, but he did save a goal from an Antonio run. I think that just overall, this Man City team, aside from those guys I mentioned, they weren't playing the best. Ruben Diaz got beat in the air by Antonio. Raheem Sterling was really not looking good today, and Mars wasn't looking that good either. It was really a kind of flat performance by this Man City team that you would have expected to come out really hyped. It was after Van Dijk got hurt. I think a lot of people thought that this is Man City's title to lose, and well, yeah, they went out and they're losing, so or dropping points at least. Not a great game by them. They have to be disappointed. So for West Ham, I think that they are definitely happy with this result, especially going into the season with knowing the stretch of fixtures that they had. Just getting points from these games, that's got to be crucial for them. They're defending very well to start the game, I thought. Masuaku, I thought, was having a really good game. Ogbonna was dealing with Sterling very well, and Balbuena was making his presence felt. While they were defending, they were really threatening on the break. Bowen especially was really looking dangerous. He really could have. He was making a lot of chances, and I thought that he'd score, that the goal would come from him, but it was actually of a Kofal cross that Antonio hit in an overhead kick. That was a great job by him, but he did go off hurt, so hopefully he'll be able to get back, but that's not great if he can't. Aside from that, I think that Declan Rice was playing a great game defensively. He's making a lot of interceptions. He was bringing the ball forward a lot. It was a great performance by him. And because of that, I think I'm going to give him the man of the match for this game. He was really playing well today, and I really don't feel like I could give it to any Man City players, given that their best players were guys who came on. So overall, West Ham, they'll take that result. Man City, they know they got to improve. So for the next game, we have Crystal Palace beating Fulham 2-1. And starting off with Crystal Palace, great result by them. Early on, they were able to take the lead after Fulham were dominating the first few minutes, but Crystal Palace took the lead. There's a stats thing that go along with the streams that I have, and they had a 0% possession according to that thing, which obviously wasn't true, but yeah, very interesting. Zaha found Riedewald after a break, and both of them are continuing some great form, Zaha and Riedewald. I'm really hoping that Riedewald is still healthy, because he did go down later in the game, but he had another good performance. Andros Townsend, he continued his great form. I've been pointing him out all year, and he's taken a step up this year. I don't know what happened, but he's been involved in goals a lot. He's been playing very well defensively. He's looking like a really good player. He set up the second goal by finding Batshuayi, who slid into Zaha, that was a great goal. He had to slide in, put his body on the line to get to it, end up hitting himself on the post. The defense was playing very well today. Kouyaté was playing great at center back. It shows that Fulham got the consolation goal after he stepped up into midfield. Good to see Nathaniel Klein back in the Crystal Palace shirt. He didn't have nothing spectacular, but a solid game by him. He was dealing with had to deal with that Lookman, so not the easiest game to get thrown in there. Tyreek Mitchell, I thought he had another good game defensively. I'd like to see him take that step forward offensively, but defensively he's looking really good. And I thought that Roy Hodgson set up the team very well. They defended well, the break was on. Great job by him again. So for Fulham, they did have a really strong start, and there were a couple of players who I thought were looking good. I know he was looking very good going forward, though he was struggling with dealing with Zaha a lot. I think down the left, Lookman and Robinson were combining very well. That's really about it. I mean, Kearney scored a screamer at the end, but I thought that he actually was playing really badly this entire game. Also, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I don't know what's up with him. He was moving around kind of gingerly. I'm not sure if maybe he's carrying an injury, maybe he's not back to full fitness, but he wasn't that great today, and he hasn't been great since he moved to Fulham, and this is really one of his biggest chances, and you really have to hope that he can take it, because if not, Chelsea are definitely going to sell him, or he'll get stuck in loan purgatory, which he is kind of in already. But I really want to see him step up, and overall, the defense, I think it's improved ever since they brought in Adebayo. I think that I've really liked how he's been playing. Kind of weird that Man City sold him instead of just loaning him out again, but he's been playing well. I think Robinson's doing all right, but still not the greatest. Tim Ream's not the best player, and like I said, Aina was getting beat by Zaha a lot. Areola is good in net, but he couldn't do anything about either of the goals. I think the Kamara red card was pretty harsh, but you can see why it was given. Overall, I think this was an improvement for Fulham. You can see that the team's like getting better. They brought in Adebayo, they brought in Lookman, and they've been succeeding. You just need to get some more goals out of Mitrovic, who had another down game today. Get some more goals out of Mitrovic. Start defending a little bit better. And I feel like the results will come for them. I'm not saying that they'll stay up, which I still don't think they do, but they're going to get off 1 point soon. They're going to get their first win soon. Who are they playing next week? Are they playing West Brom next week? If they are, I think they have a good chance to win, but yeah, it's not the greatest performance by them. And what was up with the field? There's so many leaves on there. I know all the work that goes into maintaining those fields. Why do you let all those leaves get on? Okay, anyway. Next we had what looked like would be the most exciting game of the day, but ended up not being that at all. Manchester United tying Chelsea 0-0, and there's not much to talk about with this game. So Manchester United, they came out trying to counter during this game, and they were getting a couple of chances, but not too many. Rashford got a couple of tries on the break. He was getting close to scoring, but Mendy was actually having a really good game, and he was doing well. I don't think that Bruno got as creatively involved as he would have liked to. The wingers weren't doing too great. Juan Mata definitely didn't have good performances last week, and Daniel James wasn't looking that good again. Really, like I've said, this is a problem before for Manchester United, but when they line up like this, their lack of end product really shows, because between Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, and Daniel James, I don't think you trust any of them to put in a really good ball, and they're attacking down the flanks a lot, and that really impacts their creativity, because teams can go narrow on them, and they really don't have any way to break that unless they have Rashford out wide. Yeah, so just have to hope Martial gets back and starts getting going so you can put Rashford back out wide, I guess. That's another reason why that they really wanted Jadon Sancho. I think that they'll be able to get him next summer, but for right now, it's definitely kind of not looking that great for them. I do think that Wan-Bissaka was defending really well. His tackling was on point today. He was really dominant in the air, which isn't a given for him, and just a great performance defensively. Harry Maguire did get away with a penalty, but yeah, that happens, and I think he's due for some luck, Anyway, on to Chelsea, and they're dominating possession, and they're getting a lot of the chances throughout the majority of the game. There were definitely some stretches where Manchester United were making more chances, but I'd say Chelsea were looking good throughout most of it. The attack was looking all right, but they weren't really coming up with any real chances. Pulisic had a couple of shots. Werner got into space a couple of times. Havertz was driving the ball forward well, but yeah, they're really missing just something else. It's a pretty disappointing game for their attack, and good game from their defense. It was kind of the result that nobody expected, the 0-0. As I mentioned, Mendy was playing really well. He had a couple of really nice saves, which is definitely hopeful for Chelsea. I saw that they put Petr Cech on their Premier League squad, so I think it's just for COVID, but it just shows they might not be too confident in Kepa and Caballero. But there really isn't too much to say about this game. Jorginho was keeping the ball well. Conte was doing his thing defensively. I don't think that the subs made the impact that they wanted to. None of them really got anything going. Mount was looking lively a little bit, but not too much. Overall, not the greatest game by either team. I'm not sure if they would be disappointed in the draw, though, given that they both had their struggles, but again, not the greatest performance. Picking man of the match for this one, it's pretty tough. I'd say somebody in the defense. It's definitely between Mendy and Wan-Bissaka. Honestly, still back and forth with this one. I haven't decided yet. I feel like it has to be Mendy, just because Wan-Bissaka wasn't going forward as best as he could, and Mendy really kept Chelsea in the game. So I'm going to go with Mendy, especially after they had to deal with Kepa throughout this entire year. Good result by him. So for the last game of the day, Liverpool beat Sheffield United 2-1, and it was definitely a good response by Liverpool after losing Van Dijk and drawing against Everton last week. not the greatest performance, but they'll definitely take the win. So to start things off, Fabinho gave away a penalty, and that definitely was the greatest result for them. He actually had a poor clearance before that, and so they were down 1-0 early. And after that, I don't think their defense was looking that good this entire game, especially with, and we all know how bad Sheffield United's attack is right now, and they really were giving up a lot of chances to them. I think that part of that was down to the 4-2-3-1 that they employed today. I think that really hurt them defensively because you're taking out one of, I guess it would be like a Milner maybe, or, well, Fabinho out of the midfield. And Salah and Mane just don't have the defensive work rate that the other guys do, which is understandable. I mean, they're obviously amazing going forward, but definitely hurt them defensively. But I'd say that was definitely worth the risk for going up against Sheffield United, but it does have to be said that that's why I feel like they did bad defensively. Going forward, there were a lot of positives. Trent Alexander-Arnold was looking good as he always does, putting balls to the box. Jordan Henderson, he had a really nice ball into Firmino, or into Mane, that it got saved, and then Firmino was able to head it in. Good job by him, because he has been not scoring as much as he could be. Good to see him get off the mark, and hopefully he'll start scoring a lot more now. Later on, Jota headed in a Mane cross for the second goal. So, it's a good result by Liverpool. They were looking good offensively. As I mentioned, not the best defensively, but they might have known what they were getting in for, and they'll definitely take the win. So for Sheffield United, definitely a more positive result by them, but they have to be disappointed with blowing that lead, especially with how much they pride themselves on their defense. So to start things off, McBurney won a penalty that was given away by Fabinho. Sander Berge put that in, and their midfield was looking pretty good. I thought that, Berge didn't have his best game, but he was still looking good. Ampadu was looking really nice in the midfield. He was making a lot of interceptions. It was obviously unlucky on the first goal. I don't think you can put that really on the defense. They made a good save, and then just happened to fall to Firmino. Second one was a bit weird with Enda Stevens. He was played at center back today with Osborne going out to fullback and Ethan Ampadu going to center mid, which you think would be Osborne center mid, Stevens fullback, Ampadu center back, but they decided to go with that, and Stevens got out jumped for the second goal. You have to wonder if Ampadu was at center back if he would have been able to prevent that, which I don't know why he wasn't, because it would have made a lot more sense if he was. I think when the lineups came out that they put Ampadu at center back, but yeah, it is a bit weird, but you have to live with that, and the strikers really couldn't get anything going. I think their most dangerous looking guy right now is probably Oliver Burke, but he hasn't been able to come up with a goal yet this year. I think that they probably want to try to get Brewster going, because he looks like he is probably the guy who can be the most clinical. So I can see why you want to start him. I would honestly start him with McGoldrick, because he's a pretty good supporting striker. And you do want to have McBurney up top because of the height that he brings, and it's kind of like a catch-22, because you lose something with every single striker, and you lose somebody with everybody you drop, you gain something with everybody you bring on. They have to find that right balance, or maybe switch up their formation. As I mentioned before, that their fullbacks haven't been... They actually had a pretty good game today, Osborne and Baldock, but they haven't been getting forward as well this year, so maybe they want to start playing with some wide men. I know that Oliver Burke can play out wide. I'm not sure if they have anybody else who can. Don't think McGoldrick or McBurney would. Brewster probably wouldn't be the best. Maybe you could play Osborne there. But overall, not the best game for Sheffield United. Picking man of the match for this one, it is kind of tough because a bunch of Liverpool players were playing well today, but I think we're going to go with Jordan Henderson. He's been playing pretty well this year. As I mentioned last week, I thought their midfield looked the best it did since Coutinho left, and he had a really nice ball for the first goal. He was playing really well defensively as well today. Yeah, so that's about all I have for this week of the Premier League. Hey, I'll see you.